So, hello. Welcome our new students, and I'm so happy because today is the 6th birthday of Neurographica. It's only 6 years and so much accomplished already. So many people, so many students, so many changes in our lives. So I'm like, really, if it's your first time that you're drawing the Neurographica, it's just the beginning, and I hope it will be very productive and very effective method for you. So today we are going to to work with our brain and our mind, and we'll see how we can activate and balance our imagination, our inspiration, or maybe we want to calm a little bit our overwhelming mind. So like if you cannot stop your buzzing in your mind, we will do it as well. So I'll show you just in a moment what we are going to do. And before we can move forward, as always, I want you to make sure that you take care of yourself. It will be 3 hours class. I usually don't do official breaks, but if you feel like you need a bathroom break or water in, water out, so just take care of yourself. So you're free to come and go whenever you want. So you don't need to ask any of my permission. So just make sure that you're gentle to yourself. As always, I recommend to drink plenty of clean water, no coffee, no tea. Clean water helps to wash out the outdated information from our body and bring the new information, and helps to absorb this information in our body. So we usually do one more thing that I wanted to show you. I haven't shown it before, but in February in 2020, just this February, there was a new book published. I hope you see it in the right, maybe it's mirrored. So this is a book, first book about Neurographica. It's called Lifting Inner Constraints. So it's in Russian, but the translations to English is already, people already working on it. So I hope it will be published this year. So whenever it will be published, you can have I will let you know for sure. But even now you can buy digital copy. And if you want, I can just post a link in info box, Russian digital copy, and just go through the Google translator, and hopefully it will do a decent job to understand what the creator of this method, Pavel Piskarev, was trying to tell us. So one more time, happy birthday, Neurographica, and I'm very happy that we are going to work on very beautiful exercise today together.
I like your top.
Oh yes, this like, let me stand. It will be a little bit awkward, but this is the drawing that was done last July, and I have something on how to show you.
Wow.
Something on the back. I have some.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's beautiful.
Like people, friends, and random people did it. Like we just were wearing the white t-shirts, and they use the permanent markers to draw whatever they were wishing for to you. So my wishing was to have many students. So I have each bubble represents a student or group of students. So
oh wow,
here I am teaching. So yes, and hopefully, like when the classes, online classes, will, like when the social distance will be canceled, we can do the class and try this drawing on each other in the presence of each other. So it will be interesting. So before we can move to our class, let me show you what we are going to do. I'll switch the camera. Okay. So I have already 3 drawings, and you'll see how they similar and different at the same time. So this is a very last one that I've done on Saturday evening with Russian group, and in Russian language you can see different video. This was my very first one, and I've noticed that I need to switch mirror. Okay, so this was the first one, and this one we've done on Friday. So all of them are different and very energetic, like the very energetic one. So today my goal is really how I can a little bit calm down my mind. Like, I hope you don't do like 3, 4, or 5 drawings of the same subject, like, or the same target, like your imagination, because it can be a little bit overwhelming. So be very gentle to yourself. So today I'm going to see how I can calm down a little bit my mind and maybe expand my project outside in the world. So how I can inspire the world by my creativity and my inspiration. So we need to activate our neuron system. Everything that is related to imagination, everything that's related to inspiration, we need to activate and see what kind of associations we have related to it. So 2 minutes exercise as always. So piece of paper, any pen, and I will just set up 2 minutes and we will do some brainstorming. So let me change the camera.
What should we do for those 2 minutes?
So I will set up 2 minutes and you will write down as many words that is coming in your mind, like any associations that is coming to you. It could be words that like directly associated with this word, like imagination, or maybe it could be some people show up, or like names of the people, something that you would never like logically connect, but in your subconscious mind they have some kind of connection, and they may be a great opportunity to see what is connected to this word and what the restrictions you have. So any words that come in your head, you just write down. You don't have to write the sentence, just words like father, mother, like love, fear, danger, pain, must, go. So like any words that is coming. It could be any language. Bad words, like not appropriate, you can write them down. You will not show to anybody this list. It's only for your really for your feedback. You can understand what is connected, related to this theme. You can repeat some words, and some people can repeat 15 times the same word because the charge of this word is very strong. What else? Repetition is fine. Bad words are fine. People, like if you they coming, like write it down. So it will be just for you. And the only thing that I will ask, like if you want to share any of those words, you can share, and how many words you had. Okay, are we ready?
Yes. Yes. And last question.
Any language.
Okay. What would be better to use paper size for the drawing? The regular printing paper, or should I use a little?
So I usually use the letter size. I have a standard size, and for 3 hours it will be enough to finish the drawing for me. But for the beginning, if you want, you can have the half of the size, and it's maybe very helpful for you to just to feel how it works, because it could be like at the beginning the rounding and lines could be challenging, so I don't want you to be overwhelmed, so half size could be helpful.
Thank you.
Okay, so are we ready for 2 minutes? Okay, let's go. So 2 minutes it is. It started. We have 20 more seconds. Okay. Wow. Okay, so today something new show up for me. Just count how many words did you have. Repeated words you count like each time for separate words. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. I have 33 words. So if you have less than 20 words, it may indicate that this theme is not important for you, or another option that it could be suppressed so much that you don't even allow yourself to think about it. So the more words, then better. So like the record I had from one of my students was like over 60 words in 2 minutes. It should be very fast handwriting. So my usually not exceed 40, so 33, it's already quite a lot. So 20, 25 are usually the average. Pay attention and see if any of the words that really strikes you, something that out of ordinary, something that you would never really connect to the theme. I have 2 or 3 such words, and like it's my already 4th drawing about the theme, and never they show up before. So I'm really going somewhere very deep this time. So I hope it will be gentle for me. So if you want to share any of your words, let me know. If not, we will just start drawing. So let me switch the camera so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and you'll just follow. So you have two options for future. So for those who are watching us, and if you want to rewatch it, you can just draw yourself the shape of a brain, something like this, or something like this. So I just printed those pictures from the internet. So you can find it, just a brain outline, and print it and work with this one. I'm going just draw it on my paper myself, and I actually recommend to try to do it on your own, because it will show you the really first diagnostics if your brain is balanced or if it's not, and how really which side, the left or right, is dominating. So it's a very important for exercise just to see if it's balanced or not, and we will explore it very gently. So the first step we are going to do is to find the middle somewhere, and you define the size. I usually did the very big ones, like I tried to use my brain. It's even bigger than its actual size, but for me it was important to see the whole potential. Today I have a different goal. Today I want to expand my inspiration and my imagination towards the social life, towards the other people. So this is a very important. So I have to allow myself to be smaller compared to this social society and outside world. So I'm just creating somewhere the middle and the Sharpie. Okay, and just like a walnut, so it has two. We're not really concerned about, and you see it's out of balance already. So my left side is really dominating my logic. So before I move on, I want a little bit more balanced. So there is some. So we really don't look for the exact anatomic similarity. It really does not important here. So if you just draw a circle and half, it will be enough. So this is, we're working with the symbol of the brain. So this should be very clear that it's not very important. So the next step, we start exploring our brain. We leading the neural lines and just explore how they go. Do they want to go from one side to another, and they go outside as well? And what I've noticed that I'm like really did not allow myself to be very small. I'm still fairly big. So it's some indication of ego. But I'm just observing. I'm not judging any of my observation. So I'm kind of tried to explore it. I allow myself just observe without making any conclusions. So, and I look at the line. So each neural line, the lines that we are leading, neural lines, it's a such line that does not repeat itself, and it goes wherever you don't expect to see it. So, and for me, it's very important to connect left and right side. So I want them to exchange the information, exchange the energy between them. And I allow the lines bring to my brain from outside. I allow the each line can represent thoughts. So I allow people inspire me. I allow some books or movies inspire and let me create something beautiful. Now I'm already like, I wanted to calm down my brain and it's not quite happened. So I'll see if I can do it with my colors when we start doing colors. So now I see that there are some crossings in my brain. So each crossing gives a very strong energy charge, and I wanted to pay attention to it. So I draw a circle. The circle could be not exactly perfect. So for me, this is like I usually draw quite good circles, but crooked circles are fine. Again, it's a symbol. So this is a symbol of my attention, my love, my energy that I'm bringing to this crossings of many, many thoughts. So something, when we integrate different knowledges, we have a chance to really activate the creativity. Creativity is the result of different, of unusual use of what we had already before. And I have other areas that I want to bring my attention. And calm down. And it's really what strikes me that all those crossings are mostly placed on the connections, two of them. And I want to harmonize. So the circle represents harmony, love. It may represent God if you okay with this, like, because some people don't really want to be discriminated by statement. It's nothing about religion. So the Neurographica is not about religion, but it's about connection to other people. And first of all, it's connection to yourself. So, and I already started, like, because so many crossings, each crossing represents conflict and maybe some potential obstacle. So what I want to start, I want to round each corner. I want to corner can transform into curves. So, and I start just rounding them. And I'm going through each line and make each line stronger. So whatever does not belong to my curves, I just may color it black. I use black Sharpie, but you are welcome to use different colors. Black color is just easier to see on the screen. So it's easier for you to really understand. I use Sharpie. You may use color pencils or any other markers. This is just my preferences, nothing really to do with rules about Neurographica. Whichever material and instrument is convenient for you or available. There are some drawings that I've done just blue pen, like when I did not have any color pencils. It was just on lined paper, but I needed to release some stress, and it was working as it should be without really limitation. So don't find an excuse that if you don't have good supplies, that you cannot draw Neurographica. It should not be a limitation for you. So simple supplies will work. I have many supplies, and if you have questions about what you want to try, let me know. Like, I will give you my opinion about some materials, because over 3 years I really collected many of those. So for some reason I started and harmonizing one of the circles. This is like very important for me to balance this one. So we really don't force anything. We first of all, we do balance, harmonizing. So this is each thought has obstacles, like when they're crossing each other, they may not really understand each other, so they could be in inner conflict, and we want to reduce this conflict and allow the energy just move on. We want to find as many connections as possible without really obstacles. We establish a very steady, very decent, very flow of energy. So okay, so I balanced one circle and I'm going to another. So for me today, I'm starting from the circles. You can start harmonizing and rounding from any point, from any size of your drawing. It really does not make any difference. Wherever you feel attracted, do it. And notice how you really rounding. Do you stay in one area and complete everything before you move to another side, or you jumping from one side to another? So it's just observing. Again, there is no judgment. We learn ourselves, we learn our potential, we learn the best way for us to learn, like who we are, what we have attracted to, what can get us distracted. So this rounding is like a meditation. It's a very powerful, because you still pay attention to what you're doing and you still see the result, but your mind has the state of calmness, especially if I don't talk too much. But like if you try it on your own, it will be different energy. So interesting, I'm like, and pay attention to what, how do you feel, how your body reacts. There is a famous quote of Albert Einstein about imagination. Imagination is more important than knowledge, for knowledge is limited to all we know and understand, while imagination embraces the entire world and all there ever will be to know and understand. So it's like really there is no limitation for our imagination. So we allow our imagination to grow and shine and inspire ourselves and others to make this world better. But first of all, we start balancing ourselves. The only thing that I'm looking for is to feel balanced, to feel connected, to feel inspired. So I don't really force my abilities. I'm allow what already I have to move freely. So it's really about lifting inner blockages, my boundaries that I created over time, and people around me who I trusted, like their opinions were very important for me. And you can create new lines whenever you feel you need to. Okay, so now when I balance these two circles inside of me, I have this third one. So when I balance them, I feel that I can go outside. And it's very important for me to move outside. And I can create more lines. I can create, like, when we're going outside, it's really how we connect ourselves to the society. Do we allow ourselves to go outside? Is it easy for you? Notice your body reactions. Do you feel limited inside of your brain? Do you feel any constraints? So I want you just observe it. And if it's uncomfortable, stay with this feeling. It's not about, like, Neurographica is not about feeling happy all the time. It's about getting out of your comfort zone so you allow yourself to grow and to find new possibilities for your own development and for the development of the humankind as well. But again, we just start with ourselves. We don't set up huge goals. To help ourselves is already big enough. And for some reason, I want to create this very strong boundaries here. And I allow myself to create those boundaries. I don't really try to be dissolved in everything. I already did several drawings about me dissolving in society. Now it's very important to save my boundaries. And it's just a like really beginning of the drawing. It will be changing constantly during our class. And even after class, you have the opportunity to change it. You can change, like there are some drawings that I was changing for 9 months. Because I was changing and drawing was just representing me. So what is going on inside of you is much more important than any drawing can represent. If you feel strong emotions show up, please allow them to go through your body. Don't try to suppress them and let them stay hidden. So it means, like, if emotions start to show up, it means it's time to let them go. Allow them just observe without judgment. There are no bad or good emotions. You just take care of yourself. They telling you something, and it's okay. So everything will be connected by lines, so there is no any elements that are separated. So belonging to society is very important. It's like one of the strongest desires to be part of a group, part of a family. Even those who prefer to live a separate life, like hermits, they still feel connected to bigger forces. They most likely connected and feel this huge connection to divinity, but it's still be connection. It's never been just disconnection. And it's connection to the earth as well. So we don't recognize it until we don't have it. But if you would be isolated in concrete building and could not really go out for quite some time and just feel the earth, feel the vibration of the earth, it would be very depressing. The earth is really nurturing us. So all these lines that I'm leading to the edge of the paper gives me sense of connection to other people, to the earth, to the group of people, to my bigger ideas that I cannot really create myself, or I want to be inspired by those ideas. So even if I have big ideas, they only big when many people are affected by them. It's like if I have a very important knowledge or information, it does not really have any value if nobody was inspired by it or was really know it. So I'm just, what's the point of the gold if you cannot buy anything on it? You cannot really use it. So, sharing is very important. Okay. And it's interesting that all my lines outside are most from the right side. So the left side, I still be a little bit. So I'm very easy to share my creativity, but not my thoughts. So I'm just learning what is. So the right side is usually represents feminine energy, creativity. So the visualization, like your ability to create, to see unusual shapes. And so it's more, and I already said that it's more about feminine energies. The left side is more about logic. Like if you need to do accounting, if you need to do math or any logical explanations, you usually use left side. But to create, like to make a real discovery, scientific discovery, it's interesting how many scientists who made breakthrough discoveries describe it quite similar, that it was a different state and the knowledge and understanding came from somewhere. It's not from the long time thinking. So there was a base, like I would say that discoveries like Einstein did, it's still before it came to him, not to his neighbor, but because he was already thinking a lot about it. And whenever you're like let it go and allow yourself to go in an unusual state and accept this information that came from that state, like really when he had already a very strong left side, and allow yourself to dip in the right side, like in the imagination, and it helps to make a discovery. So this is a very important for us to have both sides equally important. And I'm not telling that like everyone is going to be Nobel Prize winners. But it will be used at the level that you feel comfortable. Like when you, at your work, at your communication, at your relationships, at your community. So don't underestimate that those areas are not important. I think they are most important. Like relationships are very challenging area. So we really want to be creative about finding creative solutions to find a balance between two souls, between two people, like two raising kids. This is a challenge for creativity for sure. Like try to satisfy curiosity of your child, and it will be a challenge for life. And it's interesting, like to see what is motivation for you right now, what really moves you forward to try new things, what is priorities, how do you set up those priorities? Okay, so I'm almost balanced myself inside. So when we work with any body parts, like brain, mind, subconscious mind, even if you work with, you can do such balance for different body parts like lungs, liver, because it will help you to release some of the emotions that really stored and hidden there, and allow them to move. Emotions like water, they need to move. And I got very thirsty when I say it. So pay attention to your body. What your body is asking for. I have such a strong reactions in my body for some reason. Something I pointed. And in my case, there's so much irritation in my throat that really gives me idea that some of the emotions wants to be released. Throat is the area where we store our unspoken words or regretted words. So all of this emotional stuff is stored in our throat. So it's if you have any problems with your throat, see whatever you want to say out loud. You can be very gentle about what you want to say, but it's still needs to be spoken. Like from my own experience, I had a very big lifetime secret that I could not tell anybody. Very painful, my experience. And when I was able to tell it after I let it go, I was able to sing. So now I'm doing the sound sessions when I can do singing and crystal balls. And it was very interesting how fast your body is really reacting to what you allow it to do. Okay, so all my lines that I have inside and even outside, I already rounded. And don't feel that you are forced to do it as fast as I am, because I'm just doing it fast. I'm like done it so many times, and I'm just faster draw. Like with lines, I can do it very fast. So take care, don't rush, because when you start rushing yourself, it will be uncomfortable, and I want you to be very gentle to yourself. So it's better if you will be a little bit late, but you will be comfortable. And now I see that, first of all, what I see from my drawing, that I still have a blind spot. So this area does not have any lines. So I want to explore why. And I see so many lines here, very strong lines, and I want to bring a circle here. So, and I will just add more and more lines to see what I want. So I want to do the circle first. And I noticed that the circle wants to be mostly outside. It's some idea that wants to be born. Okay, I want to make it one bigger. Okay, so this is a huge idea, something very profound. Okay, whew. It's Interesting. When I like draw the circle, my irritation in my throat just went away. So it's like it's gone. So my body starts reacting. So you pay attention to your reactions in body, in your emotional state. So do you feel like any changes? Do you feel any shifts, any movement of energy in your body? This is could be very slight changes or very strong. So again, just observe. It's not, it's very hard for some people to notice how the body reacts. When you live, when you are so disconnected from your body, it's very hard to pay attention to it. So I'm like really emphasizing it as much as possible. Pay attention to your body so the body does not have to scream. Pay attention to what you're experiencing. And when you will be able to read your body from slightest clues and see what it needs, it will be much more, it will be healthier, and it will be, there will be no such strong reactions. It's like really, when we don't listen the whisper, the body has to scream. And when it screams, it scares us so much that we're like really freaked out and we panic. There is all this symptoms that we ignored for a very long time when they were just a slight symptoms. But when it's become strong, we ignore them stronger. Or sometimes we try to suppress them. So I don't say that we don't need medicate our body. It's very important, and of course it's not a substitute for the medical or really health issues, but I want you to be connected to the body. I want you to feel it and allow it to talk to you, and just see, and you will be amazed how much you can recognize in your body. I'm like, and when you will, it requires some training. It's not easy, and it's will need some time, but it's possible. So just allow yourself to learn the skill. Wow, it's a really very strong ideas. Like the third size of my brain. Okay, quite ambitious. Let's see. And it's, I have the feeling that it's coming from from me to outside, but it could be from outside to me as well. So something is, I will be aware of what is coming, what is really wants to be. And I want to explore this part of my brain. The more lines we have, the better. The quality of Neurographica drawing is represented by how many lines we have. And
Anna, should be forced to draw lines, or if
so don't force anything. You may you may have some resistance, like there is a definition difference, like, and sometimes it's a very fine difference between resistance and moving forward and forcing. So the forcing is like, be very, very careful not to force anything. So I want you to be as gentle as possible, but listen to yourself. So do like to intuition. Some areas you notice that there is some requirements of more lines, and some areas don't really want to be overwhelmed with lines, because several lines could be enough for that. So it's really your intuition how much you want.
So if I feel okay with this amount of lines, this
Yes,
is fine.
it's fine. Your opinion is much more important than anything else, than any of my feedbacks. And again, like, even if I tell you something at the end, you always listen to the how does it resonate with you. Do you want more lines or not? Like, you have always an option to say like, yeah, thank you, but I don't feel I want to change anything. I'm so happy with my experience and with my drawing that it's I don't want to change anything. And this will be the best outcome. For me, is not about like really forcing you to do what I think you need to do, but it's about taking responsibility about your drawing and about your experience, and that you taking care of yourself much is more important.
And how what is the procedure to come back to the drawing? Like you said, you draw a picture several times. You just come back to the picture. You sit down again for 2 minutes and write down again.
No. So if you decide to come back to the drawing, like, I assume that you finish at least rounding. So like, for example, I have several drawings from my album, I'll show you, that are, for example, one of my last one is just black and white. You see, this is one of my drawings, and it may stay for quite a time till I really decide to color it. And if I want, I can create more circles. Even if it's colored, I can create more circle and just integrate it. Like, for example, if I draw a circle here, I can just round all corners that was created, and it will be organically integrated. I can do the same on already colored drawings, but it may be a little bit more difficult to integrate, to blend colors, or maybe completely change the design. And so it could be an opportunity to really change the design. So let me see if I can show you the drawing that I was changing for 9 months. Let's see if you can see it. Yeah, and again, like, this is the circle that I drew. It's already blended in. So it's already organically so integrated in this drawing. So let me show you. So let me switch the camera and I show you the drawing. So like,
wow.
this is the drawing, like, it's a poster size A1. So I did it, it's related to my life, like the whole life is representing in this, all my demons and all my angels. So it took me 9 months because it has so many levels. So the first was about rounding, second was just coloring shapes, and it's like at some point it was like very, very darkened. And after I like, and I like, the very last one was those white lines, white circles that represents me new opportunities. So it's like you can change it, and it's some of my drawings are very dark, and like at some point I can really hate them. Like they really can be something that I want to tear apart and throw away. And next morning I can wake up and have an idea to or inspiration to find a new solution and do something very radical but very powerful. And such drawings could be very favorite at the end. So this is another drawing that I just still working on it. I'm trying to show you. This is this year my new life. It's a little bit different coloring, so I stay colored the different circles, like, and I don't really make unusual shapes, but it still be a new opportunity to explore different sides. So let's.
But is it okay to tear the drawing that I feel I didn't like it, or it's not okay?
So I did not throw away any of my drawings, and I'm so like, even the pull was very strong sometimes, because it's a great opportunity for you to see the dynamic, how you change from one drawing to another. I can come back to the drawing like in a month, and I've seen already several drawings between related to the same theme, and I'm so happy to witness from this challenging, ugly, or like very simple drawing, I was able to create something more powerful and more open, really artistic piece. So like when we work with the difficult themes, sometimes we need to do like 5 or even 10 drawings about the same theme. The only very important thing that you need to be aware that every time when you finish the drawing, see what has changed related to the theme. Did you have any insights? Did you have any change in your relationship towards this theme? So you have to be aware about slightest changes in the theme. In this case, if you notice small changes, at the end you will have huge change in your perspective, in your perception to this theme. So some of these words, like the list of words that we're writing, for example, I'm doing it a 4th time, and I can compare by what kind of associations I have. So this is my feedback. So this is how everything is changing, like in my perception related to the imagination. And some of those words are very interestingly repeated in the same, in other, like in every drawing, and some are new. So I'm constantly changing. It's always interesting to witness how you're changing. You're changing, not somebody else. You are the most important in the whole process. So it's more important and more interesting than any movie series could be. Your life is unique, and your experience are very important for you, first of all, not to anybody else.
Can I ask a question about the drawing that I have already done?
Okay.
I mean, for this, what we're doing right now, I'm turning the camera.
You have another options if you don't. Okay. Okay.
Like what I see is that I don't have lines out of the brain on my left side. But to be honest, I don't have much space as well. So I'm thinking
it's not really about the place. It's about you willing to be connected to your male side. It's like to your logic, to your, and represent in the world that you are a logical woman and that you can make very decent observations and conclusions. So this is how you really showing the world what you have. Because everybody has talents. We just don't know what kind of talents we have. So it's I would really recommend you to explore, because there is a very big size of your brain that could be like blind
So
spot.
I need to add those lines over here that
Yes.
goes up.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And on the right side, on the bottom as well. The right side on the bottom, there is much more lines above, but on the bottom there is not so many. So you try to explore
above,
the right side,
right
lowercase. Yes, yeah, lower
okay,
lower
here.
in
So I need
corner.
more lines here.
Yes. So it's like really you have so many lines on one diagonal, but another diagonal is like have great potential. So explore the potential. So blind spots are usually the most important areas. So the areas that we easily to explore, they already something that we know about ourselves. But what we don't know, what is hidden from us, has the biggest resources, biggest obstacles could be, but obstacles is because we don't want to look there. When we just look and accept as it is, it gives a lot of energy. So good luck, explore it.
Thank you.
And I love how big is your brain.
Yeah, I used those paper. Didn't left any because it's the size is weird, I think. Anyway, I will try. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, so first I want to, first of all, I want to integrate this small circle that I have. And we always, like when we look at our brain, we want to make sure that everything is balanced. So that if I have this huge idea on my right side, my like creative side, I want to balance it. So I don't want to be like really out of reality. I want to be able to balance it, and I create something that can balance it on my right side. And I'm thinking about here. It's maybe not as big. Yes, it is big. So it will be. It's a day of big plans. Okay. Not time to be modest. And I integrate everything, and you can just put your hands on your drawing and see, explore it, like move it and see where do you feel. Some of the areas can even you feel the different temperature. Like for example, this is like very warm for me. It gives me a lot of energy. So this area, some very important circles I have there, and it's but this is this area is calmer, like really calmer, and I want to activate it. Like I'm curious about it. I don't have a fear about activating something that was hidden. I'm more about holding the intention that if I not activating, but balancing it. I want to bring my attention and my awareness to this area, and whatever it can give me, whatever it can give me the support, or maybe an opportunity to grow, even if it sometimes could be going through some challenges. But like, you have to remember that this is my 4th drawing of the same theme, so I'm already activated so much that I can accept already. I have so much inspiration that I can consciously accept the challenge. So if you don't want any challenges, keep the intention that I'm only harmonizing everything and balancing. So this is very important for me to feel calm and peaceful. This could be an intention, and it's beautiful intention. There is nothing really, you don't have to do whatever I do. And thank God that not many people repeated my challenges. But be very careful about what you're doing.
How many days should we give ourselves before we draw the same drawing?
So we have in Neurographica, there is one rule that you do not draw different themes at the same day. Like if you're working on letting go, like working on my relationship, so it's important that you're doing only, you can do several drawings at the same day, but it will be all about your relationship, because you activated some energy in your neurons, and we don't want to bring, for example, like, I don't know, about I want to buy a car in the same connection. So because activated neurons have the tendency to connect. So it's will be very cautious about doing several themes at the same day. So, but you can do everyday drawing. It will be a little bit exhausting. So I've tried several times to do drawing every day. It's definitely a challenge, because every drawing for me usually becomes very emotional, especially like when you're working on something and it's emotions takes a lot of energy. So it gives you energy as well, but it will be just tiring to do it every day, especially if you work on very big theme, like about something that was hidden for many years. So I want you to be very gentle to yourself. So allow yourself some time to integrate and process those emotions that showed up. Don't force anything. Don't overdo.
Yeah, but like this coloring of imagination, I can do it tomorrow again. Is it okay?
So yes, you can finish the coloring tomorrow. The only thing that we don't recommend, if you started to, if you still have some corners, round corners, before you can set it aside, because corners activated some like they represent conflicts, and when you round them, you calm down your perception towards this process. So if you
yeah, but if I will be done with this drawing today, coloring and everything set up, and like tomorrow I can start a new one, absolutely, but again about imagination.
yes,
or
you can do it. You can do, no, you can do it next day. I did 2 days in a row, and both of them are a little bit different but very powerful. So, for example, these two drawings were done on Friday, on Saturday, so it's 2 days in a row.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to sleep well after all, so there was no overwhelming. But
Okay.
if you want to, what I wanted to say, and I forgot what I wanted to say. So if you want to take a break, it's fine too. So you don't really have to, you don't have to wait, only if you feel like you want to.
Does this look, oh, I don't know what happened with my camera. Are those looks in balance right now, or I'm still missing something?
So they notice that like they feel balanced, but you really allow yourself to connect those two sides in a very small circle on the bottom. Like,
you mean
like when you really connect
one?
left and right side, yes. So you really like this very small and quite intense projects that can include both your logical and your creative sides. If you want, you can create bigger project, and when you really unite both sides, or stay with this one. So far, I feel like there is enough lines on each side. Your a little bit your bottom can be more explored, but it's up to you. It's not like really dominating. The quality of lines on different sides are different, and just different. It's like you nothing really we can do about it. It's and next step is like could change everything. You can
Yeah.
so next step will be coloring, and it will be different experience.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Thank you.
So when we color, let me just finish a little bit here, and
Anna?
we will go. Yes. Okay. Wow, I love how strong circles on the bottom. It's like really very well balanced, and you really uniting. So the only thing that like everything like lines, I evenly spread it. So I don't know if it's because I see it through the camera, but it seems like you may make stronger lines itself, not the connection, because the connections right now looks very strong. They looks a little bit like spikes. But if you make stronger the line between those connections, it will give you the sense of energy moving. Like,
Okay.
let me show you on.
So just darken all the lines?
Yes, a little bit, because let's see. So you have strong, it's a little bit like yours are much neat, more better, but I'm just like what going to the point. So you have very strong connection here and very strong connection here. So it's kind of still bringing too much attention where the connection is. But this looks like a weak link. So I want you to make it stronger. So the energy is moving through the whole pipe. Everything will be a little bit bolder, a little bit darker, but it will be more powerful. You really establish the energy, and I was showing, yeah. So you just make everything a little bit stronger. Okay, I'm coming to my side. I just gently activate this one. And if you notice, like when I was drawing this one, I did first a small circle and integrated it. And when I felt like, okay, so now I can make it bigger. So it could be something can be developing in layers. So you don't have to do the big circle right away, but if you feel that you want to expand any of your circles, you can do it as well. Okay. I'm doing this. Okay, so this, I feel like every area has its benefits and attention. So there is a little bit could be explored here, but not right now. I want to leave it alone. So I have quite different sizes of circles and projects. Now I'm going to color it, and I want to today I want to be very gentle with colors. I want to be fluid, not overwhelming with brightness. And when we color in Neurographica, we connect several areas together. So for example, if I just, and I decided myself like how much I want to connect. So this area will be connected. And when I connect, I just go across all lines and unite it. Like when we unite with colors, several segments, it's a level when we looking at our theme, at our question from the different level, from the different point of archetypes. Colors may represent emotions as well, and quality of energies. There is no bad or good colors. Each color has a scale of emotions, and it's just important to, for example, to see if there is a flow of this emotion, if there is anything stagnated, anything isolated, anything suppressed. So this is a different subject. So I love to be in flow. So I'm usually have this unusual swerves, but it's if you don't feel comfortable, you can just do any segments. Make sure that when you color several segments together, at least 3, 4. Okay,
and so connection between right and left side and balancing between those two sides are done by circles or some others tips?
So it could be there is like when we work on different levels. You can have a circle that will connect them. You can have a color that can connect them, or like lines. Each of those levels are different, like they have different meanings. Like remember that we're working with symbols. Lines are more about thoughts. Like you can connect the movement of your thoughts from left side to right and from right to left. Like when you bring the circles, it's each circle may represent a project, or may represent a resource, or attention, or love. Like it's you are giving the symbolism of the what the circle represents for you. So when I draw a circle, I name it like, this is my love to this area, or maybe this is something that wants to be born, something like my project that I want to work on. The colors more about emotions, more about different energies. So you can connect all of them on different levels. So for example, when I do kind of like this colors green on left and right side, is more about connecting and allowing this energy to flow through all my mind, all my sides. It's like, it's not really about like something start moving in the brain, but it's about allowing the energy and emotions affect all my brains and be inspired by this emotion equally. I
Thank
hope
you.
I answered.
Yeah, I was looking at my pictures, so I was thinking.
It's not necessary you need to draw a circle. You can just use the colors on both sides. For example, just today I received a drawing from one of my students, and she significantly divided, like one side was pink, one side was blue. So she was about balancing male and female sides on like in like the qualities. It's a like you can work with different qualities in the same picture. Like each of your drawings have different intentions, some working on inspiration, some working on balancing male and female energies in their bodies. So for it's up to you, but for me it's very important to really connect them and really integrate both sides on the same on all three levels. So that's why I have many lines crossing the middle. It's very important to have projects that includes both sides, and it's very important for me to have colors that will be in like flowing through the whole picture. But
Thank you.
yours could be different.
Hey, Anna, is that okay to adding lines while we like already finished them connecting, and like my hands wants to add some lines?
Yes, you
during
can
drawing
add,
or
yes, you can draw lines whenever you feeling the desire to do it. There is no limitations. You can even finish the drawing and next day, oh, I feel like I want more. I want to activate more of this energy, and you just start creating more lines. It will be a little bit challenging to add more lines when you have already color, but it's only like technical difficulties because the marker usually is not as easy to move when there is already pencil on the paper, but it's possible. So it's only this limitation that can give you a challenge.
yeah, thank you.
So Anna, as I'm working on the brain right now, this drawing, should one be holding an intention like I want to feel peace, or should we just enter a meditative state where we don't really go into anything? We just allow whatever wants to show up to show up.
So every time, like what I noticed, you can expect that you will work on one theme, but by the end of the work, it will be completely different theme. So my intention, because I did already this drawing several times, my intention was to give myself a sense of calmness, because I felt like there was so much activation that I was not overwhelmed, but so busy for last several days. I wanted to a little bit to calm down. But when I started to draw, another theme show up. the theme that I want to, instead of having a lot of projects inside of my brain, allow myself to expand those projects outside in society and inspire more people to be involved in those projects. So different. Like my intention was very clear, but it's evolving because you kind of allow yourself to start, and you don't know how your drawing will look at the end, and you don't know how your perception to the theme will be shifted, which makes everything so beautiful and alive. It's like really it has its own life. So it's just play with this and see. But you can have a clear intention if it was your question.
Yeah, and I hear what you're saying, that you can start with an intention, and yet other forces just, it can go in another direction because that's just where it wants to go.
Yeah, something can show up like much more important for you, and it's okay. And you just follow this guidance. It's really a guidance. Like the line can reveal some areas that you were not aware, and some emotions may start show up that you were not aware before you really like was planning to do the drawing. And it's just if something open up, follow it. It's will be the gentlest way to guide you to deal with this. Okay, so I feel like I want to switch to.
You had mentioned before sometimes, like in the more elongated shapes, the slivers kind of thing, that you would draw a circle within them. Could you demonstrate what that looks like?
Let me see. So for example, I'll show you on another drawing. So you see how many very skinny lines I have?
Yeah.
So I just created like narrow circles inside and just color what does not belong to it. We have many times, for example, if I do, well, no, did not work well for this purpose. Let's see, let's take a pen. So for example, so these areas are very skinny, and I can just round it, or I can draw a circle to the round and just color what does not really belongs to it, like what. So I'm kind of decide myself how much I want to save out of this narrow areas. I'm usually don't try to save everything. The dark and small areas of white could be very contrasting and very beautiful. It's like really gives me the sense of bubbles that can give me the breathing. So something like this. And if you don't feel, I can even just color what is like in the middle. So the different thickness of lines give the sense of perspective. It gives the sense of depth. Like you see, there are some very skinny, very dark, very bold lines, and some of the areas are very like really I had to color them, like to sketch over them, to shadow them, and it gives this different sense of the drawing, more interesting, some like for me.
There any, so some lines are thinner, some lines are thicker.
Mm-hmm.
If you're kind of thinking this in terms of like neurons of the brain, for example, are the thicker ones kind of like able to carry more information or hold more information, or is that's not really a part of this?
You know, for different purposes, there should be different lines and different energies. Sometimes in very tender and very sensitive areas, bold lines will be overwhelming. When you need just 10 teeny tiny skinny lines, like sometimes you can have so much energy from one person and it will be fine. But in other situations, you need 10 other people just giving you teaspoon of sugar, like a full spoon of sugar, or some kind word from 10 people could be easier to absorb and digest for you than just a big overwhelming praise from one person. So, and the same about your emotions. Like if you have a very sensitive emotions, or you were very traumatized, big lines can overwhelm you. So the skinny lines can do much better job to nurture and gently nurture and gently dissolve of these areas or blockages of emotions that are stuck there. So I'm really try to encourage you to trust what your feelings are and how much and what kind of lines you want to do. Like Pavel Piskaryov recommends to use at least 3 different types of thickness of those lines: bolder, middle, and skinny, and see and just combine them. So how much emotions and how much energy you want in different areas. So
Can I add it? I
yes.
feel like the small lines, it's like a little nerve system, like one support the big arteries, you know. So we cannot live without that little, what's the name for it? Nerve. Let's say that way.
And small ones can have access wherever the big ones cannot go. So it's like really the combination of both of them can cover much more areas. And it will be gentler. You don't need to be radical all the time. But it still be like if you use only skinny lines, whenever you need like really just a strong force of some energies, it will take so much time to build up this energy flow. Sometimes when you're ready to establish a strong connection and just allow the river of energy going through your body, you draw the thicker lines. Like this is like field lines, really. They give much different qualities of energy and different forces. So it's more like a river of energy that's going through your drawing, and it's mainly like me included. Like when I draw the field lines, I feel the energized in my body because it's a very strong flow.
Do you have an example of one where you feel like you have a good balance of those 3 different line types?
Let's see. If I have any. They very easy to see when they're black and white. On the I'm usually not very, let's see. So this is at least 2 different lines, and this one does not have yet the bolder lines. Like they don't have, if I would do the field lines and I will integrate them, so I would just, and they right now will look a little bit foreigners on the picture, but because they not integrated yet. But I can do bolder. And I will round each corner and they will blend in easily in the whole drawing and will look very organic at the end. So it's like really how you can do connect. And when I added those lines, I'm already feel hot. I'm like the temperature of my body has changed significantly. So when we color, those skinny lines are usually can be dissolving, like you're losing this track of those skinny lines. But I have, for example, I usually have 3 thickness of Sharpie, like ultra fine, fine, and chisel tip. I have even bigger ones, but it helps me to create different thickness of lines. And just by repeating the same line over and over with the thin lines, it will be build up the thickness and it will build up the energy. And my markers are dying. Like I just done the, like 3 days I was working on my big project, and it's I need to sort out my Sharpies. I have a box of new ones, but it's some of them already a little bit dry out. Not dry out, they just like I use them so much. I'm quite happy with this product.
It runs out of ink at a certain point.
I'm so always so jealous to all these channels where they have, oh, today I received a package from this and this product company. Let's see what kind of product they send me. So I hope one day I will be this person who will receive the products for free. Now I'm just paying quite a lot for my supplies because I'm.
You need to invest in Sharpie as a company.
Yeah. It's a dangerous company now to be advised. We have a different sense, new associations with this name now. But I love the product. Product is really good. So if I continue everything, you see this line I already integrated and it looks already quite organic. So this one, it still be foreigner because I did not round corners. So it's a very, so it's a changing. So I use sometimes, depending on the size of the drawing, I can use a very, I have a Sharpie like this size. It's like really like, and for group projects, I use them all the time. So because it will be quite a challenge to be anything noticeable on a poster size. And we have several group projects that we've done. Okay. So Catherine, today is a Neurographica birthday. It's a exactly 6 years since it was created and had its own name. So congratulations. I'm glad you're part of it now.
part of the evolution here,
Yes.
possibly the revolution.
Revolutions, like Russians have a different opinion about revolutions, but I hope it will be evolutional transition and very supportive tool to grow. And it's not just a psychological method, it's a lot of spiritual method as well, because it gives a sense of connection and belonging and purpose in life. So it's so many levels it could be done. You can, and it's really inspirational method. So I'm like happy to be part of it.
So looking at the drawing you're doing now, do you feel like pretty much all your corners are rounded enough for all those shapes? Or like which shapes would you say, oh, this is a sharp shape, even though it's not, you know, a specific triangle as such?
So the best indication, like if I have sharp shapes or not, if I can like a little bit, like not close completely eyes, but a little bit close, so I can see, and I step aside and see if anything look sharp to me. And I notice that this corner looks sharp to me, so I'm a little bit round. When you start coloring, you most likely you will see new angles and new corners. So this is the step when you can round more. So I don't really feel like any limitations about continue rounding at any time. And many people have the tendency when they start rounding, especially when they have very sharp, let's say like they have catharsis, and the catharsis will be quite sharpy, yeah. And like there is a very strong corners, and they just round, let's say for example this one, and they just round a little bit here. They rounded it, but from the side, from the distance, it will still look sharpened. So I would be like bit more generous. If you cut the if you solving the conflict, very sharp conflict, be more generous. It's better if you just color what does not belong to it and make it more round. So in small areas, for example, like this loop, I prefer just draw an oval instead of really rounding each corner, and just color what does not belong to it. So I have this, or if you have this corner, instead of just coloring like here, teeny tiny, it still be sharp. So I'm just like color this one. And if you have bolder lines, for example, it's a little bit going bolder lines, you need to cut even more. You need to be proportional to the thickness of the line, because it will be not integrated if it will be skinny, teeny, tiny rounding. So you need to be adjusting how much action you need depending on the problem and depending on the energy involved in it. So you need sometimes radical decisions, but don't afraid to sacrifice white color. The black color is actually representing structure, and the more black you will have, the more structure you will have. So it's one of the side. And black is in the symbol of yin and yang. The black is a feminine energy. It's really about accepting. I know that we, like Western people, have a very strong connection the black color with sorrow, but it's different. So it could be different meaning. So I don't minimize your associations with the color, but it could be different charge if you just look at this color from different point.
Mhm.
And my opinion was like, my intention was to a little bit calm down my mind, because many things has happened since I like, they all good things, like there's no question about like, oh, it's bad. No, it's everything was, I'm very grateful what has happened. I'm just not sure how long I can function on such speed. So I want to a little bit calm down my brain and my energy. So I have the sense of rejuvenation, so nurturing. So
sometimes these, I'll call them nodes, where the lines are intersecting and then you're coloring them. Sometimes those nodes look very distinct, and sometimes they just blend into the lines. Is one any better than the other? Do they have different meanings?
So when we have a connection, let me see. So for example, there is two connections here, and sometimes they could be very strong and they look like a spike. And the line between them is still be very thin. You see? This look like a weak link in the chain. So there is a lot of energy going on in the spike, a lot of, but there is a very teeny tiny line between. So from the distance, if I look from the side, like from the distance, the only thing I will see those spikes. From my observation, and this is only from observation, it's not like a very strong conclusion. This happens when, if you had a conflict and you invested so much time and energy in resolving this conflict, you still remember how you resolve the conflict. You pay attention a lot to the experience related to this conflict, and not so much attention about communication and about new experiences and new development in this relationship. So to change this pattern, I highly recommend just to make stronger the connection between those two spikes. The energy needs to flow, and if you just have so much pressure from sides, it can need to be expanded on the middle. And in this case, everything look bolder, everything look stronger, and there is a sense of free flow of energy. So you need to focus more on what is going on between those conflicts. What is, like, conflicts are needed. Conflicts will not be, we will not be able to avoid all conflicts. Another thing that I'm noticed, especially working with challenging kids and people who are quite traumatized during the life, they try to avoid conflicts. Like when they do the line that really does not cross each self, and they will do like all these lines to avoid the crossing, it means most likely it's that they don't know how to resolve conflicts. When any conflict starts to show up, they get very overwhelmed, and it's very hard for those people to let the world know that they exist. Because putting yourself in the outside world is already conflict. You have to change the world. Conflict is about change, initiation, the change, and like just saying, letting know the world that I'm here, look at me, brings a lot of anxiety and a lot of conflict. So for them, it's very important to learn how to deal with conflict. So it will be comfortable for them to to represent themselves as they are without really changing. It's like the change will be needed, of course, but it's not just trying to satisfy everybody. Like if you want to be your own, and if you want to speak the truth, the conflict will be needed. But the healthy conflict could be resolved, and it's an opportunity to grow not just for yourself, but for everybody who is around you. So this is a very important to know about conflicts and embrace them. I have a client who was a businessman in Russia in very challenging times. He is creating conflicts just from the line. Like his line can be very spiky, like this. It could be his neuroline. So just his existence is already conflict. But he is amazingly can round each corner from this spike. He can create such a flow that you would never really notice the spike's original. So he is a good at negotiation with business projects. Like he really, each corner, each conflict, he sees as an opportunity to change it and to negotiate to something better. So it's interesting how different qualities could be used and different qualities are needed. So if you cannot do something, it means you can do something different that nobody else can do. So I just want you to be aware of this tendency, this quality.
So and that's very helpful. Thank you. In that larger circle you have towards the top, you have something that looks almost like a jelly bean. Do you see what I'm
Here?
saying?
Like here?
Yeah. Would you say that those are sharp corners or no?
So no, I don't feel like this is any corners, and maybe I will decide to round it more. But for me, right now, it feels safe and organic. So you have to be only concerned when some of the shapes give you sense of danger. If you look at any shapes and you feel like I want to protect myself or change it somehow, you change it. Like the ultimate goal, you will feel comfortable with all your drawing, with all your energies, with all your shapes. So the safety is the most important indication that like how much you need to round or how much you need to work on this specific area. And when you will color,
handle, yeah, in terms of what's considered, round enough, because your whole drawing is not all circles. These are, a variety of shapes that exist with rounded corners, but some seem like even if they have rounded corners, they're still considered not rounded enough?
If you can recognize those corners, like there is a beautiful algorithm, and maybe one day we will do it, about harmonizing yourself. And when you just, I'll show you just a simple, but we will do someday. When you just start drawing 40 circles, and you can use the different markers, and you can repeat the circles over and over, and allow them to cross each other, it will give you the sense of calmness. Just this movement, like just this calming movement of beautiful shape of circle. It's not perfect, but it's, and you will see that the different circles will be bolder, some of them will be just skinnier, bigger, and you just stay with this meditation and draw. Like you don't need to really count 40, only if you want to, but just have enough. And when you finish, and you will already have this first level of harmony in you. And next level, you go and you round whatever corners it's created. So this is like very good exercise for kids. Like they can create this corners. And of course, I was trying to do it like very fast. But you can do it more organically. I'm not sure if I have any drawings with 40 circles, so I can show you. And you just follow all those other steps to do the rest. It's and another thing that you can do to like really let go the stress is no, I don't have the 40 circles. Yeah, I know where it is. Like another thing that you can do, just take a piece of paper, like, and explore all lines, all these corners. This is like each page represents your life. How you really allow yourself to own your personal space. This is your perspective of your inner space. Did you explore all corners? Do you feel free? It could be very strong emotions show up when you don't really allow yourself to go in. Some people just stay in the corner and explore the corner. They don't know the possibility that the page is bigger. And some stay in the middle and don't know about what is around. And when you finish enough, you just start rounding those corners. So this is okay, so I'm already ahead. so this is another exercise to experience. Okay, so I'm back to my drawing.
Well, but that's very helpful. I mean, one, it shows the variety in Neurographica in terms of processes. And two, it helps me understand, I think, a bit more what you're talking about, rounding, even though, because when you use the word rounding, it makes you think of round.
Oh, yes.
Not all your shapes are going to be circles, right? You're going to have lots of shapes with rounded corners that are not circles.
When I was teaching at correction center to kids, when I say rounding, the first what they do, just draw a circle in the middle. And if you pay attention, so it seems like a good idea, but this circle, instead of solving one problem, creates two more on each side. So instead of having 4 corners, now I have 8. and it's so it's a different sense, and it's very important not just pay attention to what the problem is, but transform it in the positive movement of energy. So the movement should be the priority.
So maybe it's part of it is probably language, like saying rounding versus smoothing the corners. You see what I'm saying?
Let me see, like there is official words for it, but you know, the all official words are in Russian. There is nothing really official in English right now. Like I had to talk to Pavel directly about how to really to say that, like, is it Neurographica, is it neurographics, because you can meet two different variations, and it's actually Neurographica. This is from his translation, because it's more about Latin roots than about anything else. Yeah. Okay, so it could be adjunct. Like, do you know the word adjunction? I'm not really familiar with the word. This is could be, if I tried to yeah, junction is more about connection, but this is, okay, so it's something lost in translation, so for sure, and there will be an opportunity to grow. I have to do my research about it. So if, but yes, some, it's not clear. It's not even clear in Russian for people. So that's why you have to really show what you mean when you say rounding, because rounding is just direct translation from Russian. And this.
Yeah, but that's what my sister did, exactly like you said. When I say rounding, even in Russia, she starts doing circles.
Okay.
So I think it's the same thing in English will be.
The same, yeah, because the meaning is like when we have this, because another word is not, it looks still be very complicated for people who don't know really. It's not obvious word as well, what to do. So it's more like scientific name, but it's not obvious. So that's why I still stuck with rounding. And it's, for me, it's easier to explain how to do it than just to try to explain what the word means and how it's to do. So it's, if you find, Catherine, if you find better solution, let me know. I will use your help for sure. I believe your English is much better than mine. There is no question about it. It's interesting. My English I learned when I did filed taxes. I really, I worked for 10 years, I worked as a tax advisor. So you see, logic is really my strong side. And
well, your English is great. I mean, it really is. I don't have a second language, so I am always envious of people who speak more than one language.
I like just this morning I was remembering the story about my older son and my English. I was volunteering at school, and we had a great year, and his teacher asked him, he was like maybe 10 years old at that time. So it was 10 years ago. So, and she asked like, is it possible your mom can volunteer next year? And he said, no, she has such a problem. She was so scared because he was so serious about the problem. And she's like, what has happened to her? She has such an accent. It's hard to understand her. She will not be able to help you. She was telling me and laughing because it's like, no, it's like nobody really has a problem, but he felt like it's a big problem for me. So yeah, kids, different opinion. So yeah,
I've been thinking about the lines as like bringing consciousness to different areas. So the more lines you have, the more consciousness that is coming into those specific spaces. Is that a good way to look at it?
yes, consciousness and awareness. Yeah, you bring in more attention. Thoughts, you can do like equal sign, energy. Thought, energy, just following your thoughts. What you're thinking about constantly, that will be energized. Like if you're thinking about fears, if you're thinking about something that's beautiful, or some about your body parts, you will notice how much energy are going to those areas. So thoughts are very powerful because our energy just follow. It's like you have the road, and whatever is flowing just follow that road. And when you bring lines more representing the thought, and your energy just follow the line. So if you many people at the beginning, when they bring the resource, for example, they bring the circle, that name resource, and really does not give any lines connection. You need to explore the resource to make sure that you used it. Like if you have sneakers like standing in your garage without use, what's the point of having them? You really need to explore and give it integrate this resource in your life and really connect it to the everything that is needs to be at service. And I'm like, again, I'm getting distracted, and I'm coming back to my beautiful, calm brain. Okay, so what I want, I really have the sense that it's calmer compared to my last drawings. So the last drawings were very dynamic, very bright and very shiny. But this one gives me a sense of calmness, some contempt. It still be very vivid colors, but they have the different sense of energies, just different.
Your circles look like they're mostly, you're connecting the junctions or nodes as opposed to them not going from node to node? Is that something that you're doing consciously?
One more time. No.
So when I look at your circles, it looks like, those interconnections we were just talking about where you're rounding the edges thing? It looks like the lines for your circles, for the most part, are going from one intersection to another intersection to another kind of things. And yet you're able to find the intersections that are going to make a nice round circle versus, just creating a circle, and it may or may not intersect with an intersection already on your piece of paper.
So it depends on the exercise. So for this one, for example, I already noticed where there was a lot of crossings, and just kind of give my attention and love to this area, to harmonize this energy, to bring my attention and my awareness to it. Like when I do the lifting inner constraints with the catharsis one, I try to see the potential circle in those curves that already existed. Like this is always the best option to recognize the potential in already existing environment instead of bringing something foreign. But it depends on what kind of neural lines you have. I hope I answered your question, because
Yeah, I mean, it looks like the versus, I hear what you're saying in terms of you're trying to see where a circle could possibly be formed with what is there, as opposed to just coming in and going, I feel like drawing a circle right in this upper left quadrant. You're looking for the almost like an outline that's not quite there yet, but if you connect the dots, it becomes a circle, as opposed to imposing a circle where there really isn't an indistinct look of a circle, is what I think you're saying.
Yes. So for example, like on this drawing, if I would just make an example. So you see this curve could already be part of the circle. It will be not a big circle, but if I just follow the line, and it's already, I created already two big circles. So, but I started from this curve. So if I would be more accurate, I would just create smaller one. But instead of just, I've seen the opportunity, I jumped in it and use the opportunity and expand it like as much as possible. So this could be interesting, and it really gives me sense of balancing left and right, because there was more circles on the right side. Now I have more balance and more harmony. Okay, so I use the opportunity to balance myself. It's always an opportunity, like my teacher for wood carving, when I make a mistake on my carving, he says, oh, great opportunity to change design. So it's always opportunity, so use this opportunity.
It teaches you flexibility.
Yes. And don't be stressed out about your mistakes. Because if we stuck in mistakes, we really don't try to do anything new. When you have different perspective to mistakes, that it can lead you to something better and great, you will try more and more new things. Of course, there are some very painful mistakes, and you try to avoid them. But it's more mistake you make, better you get. the only person who does, like there is only those who don't try anything new, never done any mistakes. And I believe it's there is no such people. We all make mistakes, and it's beautiful. And I feel like I'm going to leave some white color today, which is unusual for me, because I'm all about keep everything busy. So today is a new day and new challenge. Have this empty space for myself for integrating everything, just for self-care. This will be a different color. Okay, so we have about 30 more minutes. So I'm almost finished with my colorings. And we are going to do the only few steps. We are going to add field lines to bring this connection to greater powers and greater purposes in our lives, and synchronicity in our lives, and allow ourselves to be part of a bigger universe, bigger plan. So I'm probably will come back to this drawing and finish what I feel need to be finished, but not sure if I want to do it okay, today. Next class on Friday at 6 p.m. we will start doing the new class, new theme, and new exercise will be about timeline. So we have, the class will be repeated on next Wednesday as well. So we will see about, we will learn about time, perception, our perception of time, and how we can this perception expand and extend.
How many algorithms are you aware of in this process?
So right now there are, I think, 10. And each algorithm have different implementations. Like you can use one algorithm for at least 4 or 5 exercises. And I constantly changing, and it's actually like, this is not enough. This algorithm called neurosketching. So you can do it for anything you want. Like you can, and we will come back to this exercise. I highly recommend to do neurosketching over your photo picture. This is like really will be something unique, and this, I believe everyone has to do it. Maybe one day we'll do it. Just like really know and accepting your yourself as you are, not the body, but the face especially. And this about brain, this is what I developed. So this is my creation, but it's based on neurosketching. So there is like algorithms are more like guidelines, but you can play with them and you can create your own exercises depending on what is your need is. Just another thing that I wanted to show you about neurosketching, for example, just yesterday I did the neurosketching about my foot. So I just traced my foot because it has some challenges right now, and I just gave as much energy and love to it as I wanted. And I have to say it's already feeling better. So you can charge your whatever you do with your energy, like you can trace your hand, you can do an outline of your body, like we did the one with the body. And it's really interesting how it's every time it will be different and very unique, and it's very and it will be very you. So it's like will be different from everybody else, and it's good. Okay, so one more thing that I want to do, and we'll start to do field lines. Field lines, I recommend to use a bolder marker, or sometimes I use a brush for the calligraphy brush, like this. But don't feel that you need to have so much tools. This is, I'm just like getting picky, and I'm trying different things because I'm doing it constantly. I'm drawing at least every day, and sometimes several drawings every day because I'm studying on very intense course right now. So field lines. For this field lines, I will use my Sharpie with a chisel tip. You can just repeat one line several times with a pencil. You may use highlighters. Sometimes you can use a little bit different colors, like instead of black, I can use blue. There will be some trick about how to integrate it, but you can do, let's do blue ones. Let's see if it's not dried out, because I haven't used it for, yeah, it should be fine. And I will just follow the field lines are still be narrow lines, and they just have a different vibration. They have a different scale, and they help me to integrate the energy of divinity, of universe, and synchronize myself with the bigger forces. I want to be gently guided, to be at the right time, at the right place, and don't feel overwhelmed by this. So for this size of paper, 3 lines will be more than enough. They may cross each other, but I would not really advise you to cross them like crisscross, like not 90 degrees. They can start, they can have this different lines, and I usually follow the lines that already have on the drawing. But if you feel like you need to create a new connection, please feel so. Okay, so now I'll show you the trick. Because we have a blue and black, it's not obvious how we integrate it. So if we use two colors and wherever they intersection, we do the blending with the color that is lighter. So in this case, I will take the blue pencil. So pencil will be easier because the blue marker over already existing pencils will be a little bit difficult to move. So, and you can draw just field lines with pencil as well. So I do sometimes with pencil. And I just do connect, like round all these corners that were created by these bold lines and integrate them in the whole picture.
Anna, but if I'm using the same color, like I was drawing with black one and now I have black Sharpie, do I have to round something, or because
Yes, you still need to round all corners that were created by field lines. So black is, I usually use black because when you round corners, it helps you to harmoniously integrate this energy in your life, in your concept of beliefs that you are connected. Because right now those lines that I created, they look foreign, like they look like they exist by themselves and just mess around with the whole drawing. So I want them to gently be blended with all the lines.
And rounding I will use with Sharpie that I draw at the first.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
The same color, the same Sharpie. You can do like bolder lines with bolder Sharpie and just round with a ski, like ultra fine or fine.
Thank you.
And I see that so much lines here and not much here. So I want to really take another lines here, and I'll just, and you see I'm just created new lines. I'm not really following any existing lines, so they will require a little bit more work, but it's for me it's okay. Like when you follow already existing lines, it means that you have already potential to integrate this, easily integrate this, let's call bigger plan or divine plan for yourself, like blueprint of your soul. It's a little bit too spiritual for some of my students, but but if I bring the line wherever I don't have it, just I don't see the opportunity, but the universe will give me the chance to recognize it. So it's something completely new that I'm not aware of it, but it will be presented me. And because everything will be rounded, I will be able to harmoniously integrate it in my life as well. So it's a little bit more time, it takes more time to integrate. Again, when you drawing such lines, pay attention how your body reacts. Do you have any reactions in your body? Like have this, like pay attention, how do you breathe? Like, do you even breathe or not breathing? For people whose mind is buzzing constantly and it's very hard for them to like calm down, I highly recommend more and more pay attention to the breathing. Like really just observe how you're breathing without any forcing, just how the air goes in and out, goes in and out. You can even sense the temperature change when the movement of air happens in your nostrils. Like it's a little bit colder when you breathe in and warmer when you breathe out. So it will help you to calm your brain. The breathing exercises are very useful, very powerful. So, and they could be very simple. You don't need to really overdo. Like there are some exercises that you can do. It's like it's very, but something simple like observing is already make a difference. So I actually like those blue lines. They different, not when it's and it's the most it's the boldest color I have. Black is kind of integrated, and I don't really much pay attention to black one anymore. But the blue is a new, something completely new, and there is so much movement. Okay. Almost done. The most, it's very important to really integrate the field lines into your drawing, because it can be like separate net that really does not have much connection to you. So that's why different colors could be fun, but it's a challenge as well. And one of the tricks to integrate them is to expand some of the lines, like skinny lines, and sometimes like they may create new lines, and you just blend them in, like wave them in the drawing of you've done already. So like merge it with some of the objects, elements that you have. almost done. So, how are you doing? Okay, so my lines integrated. And at the end of each exercise, we look at our drawing and see what is the most important element is. What did you learn and it's you want to remember when you look at your drawing? What do you remember? Where is the whole power or most of the power was? It could be the biggest objects, but it's not necessary. Like, for example, those circles on sides does not really gives me shivers or like really, they just big. They're powerful, but it's not. The intensity for some reason is more about this middle size circle. When I put my hand on it, it feels like even warmer, like the whole page is when I scan, this feels warmer. So I can make it even more noticeable so I can remember next time when I look at this drawing that this is my very important. I can do some shading on sides so it will have the sense of 3D, like the effect, and it's like stand out from the whole picture. Or you can make just bolder lines the same as field lines, like the same thickness, so it will be more noticeable for you. For me, the 3D gives enough kick so I can, my attention goes there, so it's like really bringing it forward. And on depending on your intention, depending on what was important for you in the drawing, find your way. For me, quite a long time at the beginning, the most important was the sense of connection through those field lines. And I did not really choose anything else, but just felt the flow of energy lines, all those field lines and divine lines, the way you want to call them, whatever makes you feel comfortable about them and gives you energy. So it's up to you what you want. Like the object kind of gives you conclusion and satisfaction effect on this ending point. And from the next point, you will just move forward. Okay, Kenny, you ready to show me? Okay. Again, this powerful orange color. So I love this turquoise color or aqua color that really is moving through both sides. All of your colors moving through both of your sides. And it's interesting on the top, that's like the pink, that the way you colored, it looks like a heart. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I love how bolder lines are. So like it's you made them bolder, and it's nice. The flow is stronger. Look at your left side and this yellow circle that you have. It looks like an eye.
I know.
Where does it look? What does it want to see?
Well, my idea was that it was, I was just trying to do something kind of more creative shading wise, like same with this one. And I think it just accidentally turned out looking like an eye or a reverse avocado or something, maybe an avocado.
So if it's an eye, so think about like what do you really want to see? Something logical. It's on left side. Something related to your work. Something to male side. And it's very intellectual. The yellow and some perception. Maybe it's it's a perception about yourself related to how intelligent you are. Because you see that the yellow color is it's a very big, very powerful. Can you hear me? Because it's
Yep.
Yep. Phones just died. So it's very big, very powerful, but it's a disconnected from the outside world. You don't really show to people what you have, what kind of potential you have. So just an observation. You may support this yellow color with other areas around you with the same yellow, and just feel, see where you want to be connected, to what kind of people you want to be connected.
Okay.
Okay, so it's very powerful, and I see the field lines like very supporting, and they really give you the structure. And I love that there is one project that is purple. It's small, but it's connecting both sides. Yeah.
That's a project.
Like it could be a project, it could be an idea, it could be just awareness that you have this connection. Like, but all of them will lead to some results.
Okay.
And if you want to like potentially, I would say that like there is could be more circles and more your attention in the top of your drawing. But if you want to stay with the heart and just like make it more noticeable for you as a separate shape, you can do it. It's like it's possible, so you don't need anything.
I kept looking for more opportunities for circles, and I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah, trust your feelings. Don't force anything. So they usually appear when
that one could become one.
It could be. And you can remember that you can add them whenever you're ready. Right. Even after finishing everything, you can next morning see, wow, here and there are so many opportunities. Like in our life, everything will be appeared when we're ready to see it.
Right.
So
thank you.
Okay, so we have Natalia. Okay, completely different. Let's see. First of all, I love how strong and really bold lines you have for field lines, like really very dynamic, very powerful. The brown color is about self-control and structure. So there is a little bit, you suppress yourself, like you really limiting your talents, because there is a lot of brown, especially no, they on both sides, actually, on the left side and on the right side. I love how you're blending green and blue. It's very beautiful and really gives the sense of peace. Pink, everything you have everything on your drawing. There is quite a balance in colors, and a lot of not overpowering bold colors. Everything is in this calmer tones that you have. So I assume that you are not that you are a calmer person in general.
I don't know. I don't know this structure of colors when you can mix, this round. When there are some colors that you can mix together, then others you cannot. So when I put some, this way I choose brown, because I didn't know how to connect blue
yes.
and pink, you know.
So first of all, don't overthink about colors. Trust your intuition. Whatever needs to be on the drawing appears. There is no coincidences. So I know that like, oh, I just had the 3 pencils and that's why I had to work with them. They meant to be for you and they represent something about you, those 3 colors. We have all the colors in ourselves, and like when we talk about the imagination especially and the brown appears, it's mostly about you controlling yourself. So some of this, especially you see how from the biggest the circle, it's a small circle, but the biggest charge is there and the control is going from there, and it's from right side, it's from feminine side. So maybe you're told by your from your family, from that, like you can or cannot do something and you just believed in it and did not try to do it. But like look how everything is very flowing. There is what I like about your drawing the most, that there is nothing really suppressed, there is nothing that really isolated from any sides. Everything adds a flow, everything is moving, and this is really what gives the sense of everything is alive.
But
when
I
we
wanted to connect all colors, but when I did the green and then I did blue, and somehow I isolated those, you know, and I tried and I saw that I cannot connect colors, which I was thinking I
like
would.
they still, even they disconnected from each other, they still be connected to the outside. So whatever you experience, all your emotions, you still be able to express them.
What about blue color? What if this one I understood the brown one? What about the blue
The
and
blue
green?
ones, especially when it's like deep blue, it's more about deep emotions. Very, and you see how the middle of the left and right side is going through the blue color. So when when you're talking, that the blue color is really gives you the sense of depth, sense of it can give some sense of a structure as well, but it's when if you go too deep in your emotions, you don't see the structure. So there is a scale, like on one side you can be overwhelmed by emotions, on another side you may use those emotions with the structure, and see how it's beautifully really integrated blue and red, or blue and brown. So you need to have the structure, maybe a regular schedule, maybe like very strict routine. Don't be overwhelmed. So just like maybe it's very helpful for you to have a schedule, and it's okay. So just like see if it resonates with you. So yes, everything is and it's a feminine drawing. There is so much pink. I love how.
But you know, this one is it's not purple. It's
Magenta.
What color?
Okay, so this is violet, I think. Yes.
Yeah, like violet, but it doesn't show on the through the screen. Only pink I have here and here. Yeah, and I added some
so
violet or purple.
Yeah,
or
there is a different colors on the, like there is a different tones of pink and violet and coral. So coral, which is usually recognized as pink, pinkish, reddish or some, it's more about connecting to the community, connecting to other people and bringing people together. Violet is still be, for me, it still be feminine energy, very tender, very gentle, so very patient. So And I love how everything is expressed, everything is on your drawing. And the yellow is a little bit more, is usually representing intellect or consciousness, and it's more dominating on your left side, which is a logic. So our body really knows everything. We just need to trust it. But notice that the outline itself, left side is significantly bigger than right side. And the right side.
Do you mean this one? Bolder
yes,
one?
Yes. This is a bigger. Like they are not, like if you look from the little bit distance, the right side of your drawing is smaller, like than left side. But so you more rely on your left side. But this beautiful circle on the bottom of the right side, what can really brings you together to other women or other communities. So you have more opportunities to connect through your right side, through your creativity, through your imagination, through your visualizations and unusual talents. So it's really the circle at the bottom gives the sense of balance both hemispheres of your brain. So it's and this green is it could be different energies. Like the turquoise green is usually about creativity, like really unusual thinking about or it could be about healing as well. So,
all right, thank you.
Thank you. Very beautiful. Like the most beautiful, like this field lines. I just fall in love with them.
Oh.
Drawing.
But I like your field lines because they were outside. I thought the field lines should be only 2 of them or 3 maximum. But I like that your went out when you draw.
Mine are all over the place. It's just the beginning, Natalia. So there will be more for you to experience.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank you for the class and for this explanation. It was almost what it is. I would say about the schedule and about this round.
Yeah,
I feel like it is right now going on.
Good. So this is like another indication how much we intuitively know everything and what is already going on in our life just presented on the our drawing. So it's amazed me every time. So I'm so excited that it's just a proof that it's already working.
And I'm really impressed that you could describe all those things because I wouldn't. I don't have answers for those, but with those some explanations, and I'm very glad that I will have chance to go back and see this video on YouTube. So because to remind myself or to more understand deeply. So it's really amazing.
My explanations are a little bit different from what the Neurographica itself is. So my goal is to create some branch of Neurographica that could be used for diagnostics, especially when we're working with kids or with people who cannot talk about their issues because the issues could be so deep. And of course, I need much more professional support from maybe art therapists or people that are therapists. And if anyone is watching this video, can give me such a guidance and be part of this development, I will be happy. But all this, my comments are based on my observations and my prior experiences in other fields like healing fields and constellation work with people. So this is what I've noticed, and I just talking about it so I can see how accurate I could be. Like, is it really indication of this or that, or is it could be my just imagination? So thank you for confirming some of these points.
Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, girls, it's already 3:08. I'm almost on time. And let me show you, like for those who joined us just at the end, I'll show you my t-shirt, Neurographica t-shirt. You see, this is my drawing that was done last July in on intense training for the instructors. And I have, let me see, I'll show you some. There is some drawing on the back as well. I'm not sure if you can see. See, this is my Neurographica shirt, and this is something that I'm like special occasion because of the birthday. Today I'm wearing it.
Very cool.
Very cool. So Kenny, you want to?
Okay,
Cool.
I finished.
Oh, you finished. You brought more green. Nice, nice. It's like really this aqua color that you have, or turquoise, like it's I don't know how to really name it. It has a sense of wings to me.
Of what?
Wings,
Oh,
like
wings?
like flying.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, like a bird. And
Yeah.
the eye is the bird.
Yes. So yeah, it's just interesting. Where do you want to fly? With your
like it.
imagination. With your imagination, you can fly wherever you want.
Right.
So travel as much as you want, and you explore your potential.
I feel like I travel every night when I sleep. I'm astral traveling like crazy.
Yeah, it's a very strong energies right now, so it's a great time.
Yeah.
For self-development for sure. So, and I'm glad that we use it so wisely for our self-development. So anything else, any other questions that you want to share or you want to ask? So please let me know.
Happy birthday, Neurographica.
Oh yes, happy
Yeah,
birthday.
happy birthday.
Yeah, I did today. We had a marathon of celebration, and I did my short speech about my celebration with Neurographica. I was asking about a book in English, English version for the book that I was showing today, that we have already one book in Russian. So there are some drawings, drawings of Pavel Piskarev in it, and it's like very informative and very well organized. So, but hopefully it will be translated very soon, and maybe next year he will visit US as well, so to see, do some trainings and meetings with him. Cannot promise because everything is so changing dramatically now, so it's a little bit plans a little bit different now. Like I have my own perceptions that I don't make any plans for next 6 months, which is very unusual. We travel a lot and we always have a plan where we're going, and this year no plans whatsoever. We will see how it will be changing and just,
Go with the flow.
Yeah, just adjusting accordingly. So
right.
But thank you again for the participation, for your drawings, for questions. I'm like highly appreciate the questions because I believe that everyone can benefit from them, and I can by answering them I create stronger understanding in my head, and like a simpler system that I can explain for future students as well. So highly appreciate participants of each of you, And I'll see you on Friday or next Wednesday, the same time, the same place.
Thank you, Anna.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye. Take care.
Bye.
Drink a lot of water.
Okay. Thank you.